This video is going to cover markups and discounts. So we are going to calculate original prices of items, the sale prices, the discount that we got on that item, and even the selling price, which will involve markups. So let's go ahead and get started. Remember that we can use a calculator on this section, so feel free to use a calculator when you're doing these multiplication or division pieces, but make sure to write down what you are plugging in that calculator. So let's go ahead and get started. Our first question, we're given the original price of $120, the discount of 80%, and we need to find the sale price. So our original price is $120, and we get 80% off of that 120. So we want to take 80% away from 120. So we start with our original price, $120, and we're going to subtract our discount. But in order to do that, we need to figure out how much money that is. So we need to find 80% of 120. So we're going to multiply by 80%, but here we need to turn our percentage into a decimal, 8/10. So we're going to take 120 and multiply that by 8/10, and we get 96. And here we're talking about dollars, which makes sense because 80% is a high percentage and $96 is a large percentage of 120. So that's how much money we're getting off of the item. So then we have to take that second step of $120 and we subtract 96 from that. So when we take our original amount of $120 and subtract the $96 that we're saving with that 80% off, we're left with $24. So the item was originally $120. We got 80% off or $96 off, and our sale price is $24. Our next problem, we're given the original price of $112, the discount of $32, and again, we're trying to find the sale price. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to start with that 32% and turn that into a decimal, 32 hundredths. So we need to find 32% of 112 first. So we take 112, multiply that by 32 hundredths, and we get $35.84. And that's how much money we are saving. So we need to take that original price of $112 and we're going to subtract $35.84 from that. So remember, money always has two decimal places unless it's an even amount of dollars. We wouldn't have to have those decimal places there. But once we subtract this, we should get $76.16 as our sale price. So we find the percentage of our original price first and subtract that from our original. So let's go on to our next problem. We have the original price is unknown, the discount is 80%, and our sale price is $90. So we don't know what our original price is, but we do know we got 80% off and we ended up paying $90. So even with an 80% discount, we still had to pay $90. So our original price is going to be pretty expensive. So when we solve this problem here, we're going to use a proportion. Remember, it's the sale price, $90, over the original, which we don't know, and our percent over 100. But $90 is how much we spent. We got 80% off of it, so we spent 20%, or we paid 20% of that original price. That $90 stands for the 20% left that we had to pay. So we're actually going to put a 20% in that proportion. And we are going to solve this by using our cross products. We have 9,000 is equal to 20x. To solve for x, we need to divide both sides by the coefficient of 20. So our 9,000 divided by 20 gives us 450. And remember, this is dollars. And we need to double check, think about it. So if our original price was $450 and we got 80% off, which is really close to 100%, it's pretty high up there, we should be left with $90, which makes sense. So our 450 makes sense. Our trickiest part here is remembering what percentage we are paying. If we got 80% off, that means we pay 20% of the original price. Again, we don't know our original price. We're given a discount of 25% and our sale price is $40. So again, we pay $40, but we got 25% off of the original price. So that means we pay 75% of the original price. So we're going to set up our proportion 40 over X is equal to 75 over 100. Again, we're going to use our cross products, and we get 4,000 is equal to 75X. We need to solve for our X. So to get X all by itself, we're going to divide by its coefficient of 75. So we do the same thing on the left side here. So 4,000, we're going to divide that by 75. And we're going to get something that is not a whole number, which is completely all right. We're going to divide that. When we divide, we get 53.3 repeating. And we're talking money. So again, we have to have our decimal, 2 decimal places. So we're actually going to have $53.33, about, roughly. $53.33 would be our sale price. So we're going to go ahead on to our next ones. Here we're given the original price of $82. We don't know the discount, but we do know that the sale price is $65.60. So we're going to go ahead and set up our proportion, sale price over original. So $65.60 over 82. And we're going to set that equal to some percentage, so X over 100, because percentages are always out of 100. So we're going to go ahead and do our cross products here. $65.60 multiplied by 100 gives us 6,560 is equal to 82X. We need to solve for X by dividing both sides by 82. So I'm going to get out my calculator and do 6,560 divided by 82. And I'm going to get my X to equal 80. And here this is a percentage. Now that is how much money we spent. 80% of the original price. So here X stands for 80%, yes, but that's how much we paid, our sale price. So if we reset that up, 65.60 over 82 is equal to 80 over 100. We're saying that that $65.60 is the same thing, is equal to the 80%. So that means our discount, if we take 100 and subtract 80, we get 20%. And if we thought about this, $82 marked down to $65.60, there's no way that's an 80% discount. So if we just think through these problems and use that common sense idea and say, well, that doesn't make sense, 20% makes way more sense because it's a lot less money we're taking off the original price. So make sure you guys keep that in mind when you're solving these problems. And then our next problem is actually a markup problem. So the cost to store, that means the store bought this item for $86, and they're going to mark it up by 15% so they can make a little bit of a profit. So we need to figure out what the selling price is. And again, the selling price is the cost to store plus that markup. So what we're going to find first is 15% of 86. So I'm going to take $86 and multiply it by 1500ths, which is percent in a decimal form. So 86 multiplied by 1500ths gives us 12.9 or $12.90. So the selling price is that cost to store, $86, plus the markup of $12.90. So when we find the sum of those two numbers, the selling price here is going to be $98.90. So this one's actually very similar to the sale price, but this time instead of subtracting that percentage, we're adding it because we're marking the price up. So it's going to get more expensive. So go ahead and rewatch any part of these sections that you need to, any question or any explanation, listen to that again. Make sure you are very careful and you're thinking through your answers. Make sure your answers make sense, because this you'll be able to kind of figure out if you're making any mistakes based on the information that you're given. So make sure you think about your answers before you circle them and move on. So this is the end of our video. Rewatch anything you need to rewatch, and good luck studying.